During the last lecture, we have discussed about the definition of normal subgroup, and we have written two statements related to the definition of normal subgroups. And we have already discussed that a normal subgroup is said to be Hamiltonian group if it is not an abelian. If it is not abelian, it means if it is not following a commutative property, then it will said to be Hamiltonian group. And we have already proved one important theorem, which is stated that a subgroup N of a group G is said to be normal if it satisfies this property. It means if the set of elements which is a subgroup is multiplying both either from left, you are taking element x, and by its inverse from right, then there will be no change in the elements of this set or subgroup. Then this subgroup is said to be a normal subgroup. We have already discussed this theorem and the definition in our previous lecture. Today we will see two more theorems based on normal subgroup. So this is one more theorem. In this theorem it is stated that a subgroup N is said to be normal if and only if, it means condition will be necessary and sufficient, if left cosets in Z is equivalent to the right coset of Z. It means if you have a set or a subgroup N and you are generating a left coset by using any element of G, you are taking any random element from G and generating this left coset, then this left coset will be identical to the right coset. If it is always true, then we can say that this subgroup will be normal, and it is a necessary and sufficient condition. It means if this condition would hold, then group will be normal subgroup, and if N be a normal subgroup, then this condition will be necessarily hold. So the proof will be given here. Here we have assumed that N be a normal subgroup. So this is our initial assumption, and we have supposed that N is a normal subgroup. So we will start from the definition of normal subgroup, and the definition of normal subgroup states that a subgroup N is said to be normal if you are choosing a random element from G and you are multiplying this element by this element from left and by its inverse in right, then there will be no change on this subgroup. It means that all elements of the resultant set will be identical to N. So this will be equal to N. This is the definition of normal subgroup. So we have written here this definition. Now we are multiplying both sides by element x. This is an arbitrarily chosen element of G, and we have multiplied here from right. So this is nx, and it is nothing but it is a right coset. Now we will imply associative property here. The x inverse will be associated with this x, and we know that x and x inverse, these are the element of group G. So this will be equivalent to identity element, and when we are multiplying identity by any subgroup or by any set, then there will be no change on that set. So this result will be equal to xn. So here we can say that xn means which is the left coset, which is equal to the right coset. Here we are using symbol biconditional. Biconditional means if you are writing this approach from top to bottom, then we are proving the necessary part. It means we are assuming that N be a normal subgroup, and we are concluding that right coset is equal to left coset. However, when you will proceed this approach from bottom to top, then we will start from left coset is equal to right coset and conclude that this N be a normal subgroup. So this biconditional symbol indicates that we are proving this in necessary and sufficient mode. Let's discuss one more theorem. In this theorem it is stated that if N be a normal subgroup, then the product of two right cosets will be equivalent to a right coset generated by elements AB. It means suppose you are generating a right coset Na and you are generating a right coset NB. It means these are two right cosets generated by random elements A and B. If you are taking the product of these two right cosets, then the result will be equivalent to NAB. It means a right coset generated by the product of these two elements. So this is our task, and this condition is again if and only if. It means we can write the approach by using biconditional sign. Let us suppose N be a normal subgroup. Here we have started with our initial assumption that N be a normal subgroup. So it will, and A and B, these are two elements, A comma B, these are two elements from group G, and we are generating two cosets, Na and Nb. These are two right cosets. If we want to find the product of these two right cosets, then we will write here Na into Nb. As we know that if the N be a normal subgroup, then any left coset will be equivalent to right coset. This is the right coset and this will be equal to An. It means the right coset will be equivalent to the left coset. So here this Na will be replaced by An. Now we will apply here associative property. If we find the product N into N, and as we have discussed in our previous lectures, that H be a subgroup and H is written again, and if you want to find the product of these two subgroups, then this will be equivalent to H. It means no new element will be generated by the product of H with H itself. So N be a subgroup, so N into N, this will be again equivalent to N. Again here we are applying associative property. You can write here one more statement and you can associate An in a single separate bracket and B in a separate bracket, and again An will be equivalent to Na. You are applying the previous theorem here, and now we are again applying the associative property, and here A will be associated with B. So this is the product of A into B. So we have proved that the product of two cosets, either they are here in this theorem we have taken a statement for right cosets. Student can also check this theorem for left coset as well, but this is the proof. In this theorem it is stated regarding right cosets, so we have tried to make this proof by using right cosets only, but you can individually verify this result for left cosets also. This may be true or not. So in this theorem it was stated that the product of two right cosets generated by two different elements will be equivalent to a right coset generated by the product of these two elements. So we have proved this theorem. The three theorems which we have discussed are sufficient to study normal subgroup. However, I will find some problems, numerical problems for your practice based on normal subgroup. Now we are discussing about homomorphism. What is a homomorphism? Let G and G dash are two groups. Let us suppose this is a set G having three elements A, B, C. This may be finite or non-finite, but here we are assuming only three elements. And there is one more group. This is G dash. This is also having some elements. Let us suppose this has elements L, M and N. These are two subgroups. Two groups, sorry, not subgroup. These are two groups. It means this set of elements will follow all four properties: closure, associativity, identity, inverse, and I think closure, associative, identity and inverse. This will follow these four properties, and all these four properties will also be followed by this group G dash. Now a mapping means a relation between G and G dash. This will be a homomorphism. This relation will be said to be homomorphism. Please student note that the relation will be known as homomorphism, isomorphism and so on, not group or any set. This will be the special relation, and this relation will be homomorphism. How? If there is a relation between the elements of G with the elements of G dash, it means there is a mapping. In mathematical language we say that there is a mapping, means there is an association between the elements of G with G dash is called homomorphism. If